As seen on Twitch, so you want to be a live streamer. For the fans in attendance, quick note, I'd like you guys to take 2 seconds to note your exits, and also give a clap for the volunteers here at PAX. If anything happens, we're going to follow them calmly to the concourse if anything goes down. But the only thing going down today is an excellent panel on Twitch. We have 3 great panelists here with me to guide you guys along. We have Steve Gibbons, we got JayOh right here, and TJ, also known as ThatSportsGamer. Quick note of housekeeping before we get started for you guys that are showing up today. You are all entered to win a HD 60S from Elgato. And then if you go to the next slide here, we also, so for people that haven't started a channel yet, we have a free stream mapping tool that will kind of get you guys into the mindset of what type of channel you want to start, what type of streamer you want to be. So you guys can all head to those links below. And for the guys that have already started streaming and the ladies that have started streaming but maybe have trouble coming up with topics or ideas or chatting for 2 full hours, if you're running out of ideas, we have a list of 10 topics that are kind of foolproof that generate more chat activity and just kind of get people in your community excited and talking. So those are free for everybody, but all you have to do, if you guys just tweet out that you're here and watching and use twitch.tv/PAX3 for all the people watching at home, we'll get you guys somebody this HD 60S thanks to Elgato after the stream. All right, so as we get started today, what we're going to be talking about is the opportunity that is Twitch. If SGibs wants to run us through a little bit of what's been going on in the community with Twitch, their year in review 2015, these big numbers, people seeing this opportunity. What do, everybody wants something different from Twitch. And some people will say what they want, and some people will just kind of, they won't admit what they really want out of Twitch. They want the viewership because of many different reasons, and the reason's really not important. It can differ for everybody, but if you want to run us through.
Yeah, sure. So, first of all, hello everyone. My name is Steve Gibbons. I've been streaming for about 7 years now. Started on Ustream back in the day, went over to Livestream, Twitch, every streaming platform, you name it. But the landscape today and where we are today and really what it's all about is the opportunity to become a content creator. Right now, I'm telling you, I am nervous as absolute all hell doing this panel. But that reminds me a lot of what it actually means when you want to be a streamer yourself. I wonder, do people think my haircut's stupid right now? Do people think that I look like an absolute idiot, right? So these are all the same things that you kind of experience when you're actually about to stream. There's one guy shaking his head. He's like, yes, you do look like an idiot. He's right in the front row.
Hey, I tell you what.
Shout out to that guy.
For doing it yourself, your haircut didn't come out that bad.
Thank you, yeah.
But the problem is people say we look alike, so when we talk bad about you, I feel like it's talking bad about me.
No, but in all seriousness, where we are right now in 2016 is you have an opportunity to become a content creator. You have the opportunity that 10 years ago, 5 years ago, outside of YouTube or making blogs, you didn't have the opportunity you have right now where you can go live and people can come in and watch what you're doing. And the hardest thing to do is to overcome some of the fears that you experience while you are about to stream. Is anybody going to show up? How do I get more people to actually come into my channel and watch what I'm doing? How do I make them care about what I'm doing on my channel? And so that's really kind of what we want to talk about today and some of the things we'll talk about to try and kind of hopefully get a spark of an idea that seems like a lot of the people here, you probably have that idea going on where you do want to become a content creator. And we're all the same, every single one of us. It's just, it's about overcoming some of those things and making the jump.
So if we take a quick look at the next slide, shout out to all the local people from Boston here at the panel. This is my mom's basement, about 20 minutes west of here in Natick. Pitch black, we decided to start a weekly show. Pretty awesome. We thought it was great. We thought it was grand. We thought people would come and watch. And it turned out that the lighting wasn't as good as we had first thought. But that's like a serious video that we thought. So that was the first show we ever did.
That was This Week in Madden #2. It's on YouTube still. It exists. So you can check it out if you want later.
Started out a little rough. Things have gone up from then, but on the next slide you'll see we've made a lot of mistakes along the way. There's a lot of areas that we failed at, and we kind of want to share some of those pitfalls with you guys today. So The number one thing we've done wrong is timing and schedule. We've failed to deliver people content every single day or at a week or whatever you set for your community and whatever type of content they want to watch and whatever they're engaging with on your channel. You got to let them know that content's coming, and we failed to kind of deliver on a daily basis so that people can keep up on our channels. You can't just put out stuff whenever you want. You got to keep your community in mind and deliver them what they want to watch. Our content style, too long. We go too long on our shows. It's not cut up. It's not bite-sized. Not everybody wants to watch a 2-hour, 4-hour stream. You got to make sure that you're delivering it to people on different areas. Just making sure that you're getting yourself out there and that people are noticing what you're doing. And then if Gibbs wants to talk real quick about just building up your own channels, that's another area we failed. We built up some different channels, other channels. Our content was going out to other people's platforms. They were getting a lot of viewers, but at the end of the day, when you move on from that or go to a different game, maybe you don't get to retain all of those viewers. People still can find you from those channels, but you don't get to take that with you.
Sure. So before we get into this part, our actual Twitch channel is twitch.tv/MaddenTips. That's where we've kind of lived for the past couple of years on our actual Twitch channel. JayOh's got his own channel. He can talk about that later. But in regards to the schedule and the timing, I think that's really important, and it's something that it's really hard to actually do. Everyone in here probably has difficulties when it comes to timing of schedule and running out of time, not having enough time to do this or that. And you think about like today, like Game of Thrones is coming out. Everyone's excited. Everyone can't wait to watch it. It's coming and people are pumped. Like what happens if they were just like, like, no, not going to make it tonight. We're going to cancel the show. And that's a very harsh, like really harsh example. But imagine you're fans of your Twitch channel. You schedule a show and you show up on that time. What happens when you cancel your show? And yes, you might only have 2 people, 3 people, 10 people. It doesn't matter how many people are watching. You have to show up when you say you're going to show up. And that's like a real pitfall that's like really easy to fall into. You get in the mindset of like, there's only 3 people here. Like, who cares? It's just Wolfman. It's just freaking Jetty Capricorn. Like, whatever. Like, Wolf Hunter's here too. Like, you can get in that like that environment, that mindset of like it doesn't matter. But you have to stick to your schedule. You have to stick to the timing. And when you say you're going to show up, you have to show up.
All right. Next up here, we've got ThatSportsGamer. So you can find TJ online at ThatSportsGamer. On the next slide here, I'm going to have TJ just talk about the power of the ask. So TJ, and it was pretty amazing when I walked up today. I saw the Kind of Funny Games. The title of their panel was like, "We tricked people into thinking that we're important," or something like that. So TJ, give us, not that you've tricked anyone, you are important, sir.
I've pretty much fooled everybody.
Yeah.
And that's how I'm here.
The power of the ask, if you want to give some examples of, the types of questions you ask, like, example, just people say yes more than you would think so.
Yeah, so I've been streaming for about 5 years. Started by blogging, doing some podcasts and stuff, and I didn't know how to get my foot into the door anywhere. And then I realized I can just send these people an email, and the absolute worst thing they can do is say no or not answer at all. But one day at PAX, I say, "Hey, we're coming up to Boston. Do you guys want to go get dinner?" And then 4 years later, we're doing this panel here. The main thing is you just got to have the confidence to just go up to anybody, like you know what you're talking about, and ask them for something that can help you do your channel better, or even ask them how you can help them make their channel better.
For example, we have some really great content creators in the audience tonight. We've got some of the biggest sports gaming broadcasters and YouTubers here. And, TJ's a guy who, maybe his channel doesn't have quite the growth that their channels have, but he's a resource for them. When they need to know which microphone to check out or which capture card's the best option, they can go to TJ. He's going to answer them, and then they're going to meet up and be a community, and everybody's going to help everybody else grow.
Yeah, and that's the big thing recently. About 5 months ago, I stopped streaming because my son was born, so now I have a little 5-month-old at home. He's doing great. Hi, Ryan. I think they're watching on the stream. So he's been great, but I haven't been able to stream in 5 months. But still, these guys know if someone has a question, send them to me. I just helped someone try to get their MAC address set up on their PS4 because they're at a hotel and they didn't know how to do that, so I helped them do that. So even though I'm not streaming right now, I can still be a part of the community to help everybody else get better.
All right. Next up, we've got JayOh in the building. JayOh's a young buck in the community. He's about 20 years old.
20, I'm not. About to be 21.
Shouldn't have had that beer
he even
last
allowed
night.
to be
No,
in
I'm kidding. No, he was clean. He kept it fresh. No, so JayOh is 20 years old. He's in college, and as you guys know, in college, it's extremely difficult. You have all the time in the world, but it's at different times. It's late at night. You have roommates. You have all the challenges that I can't stream tonight. My roommates are making too much noise. Or you have every excuse to kind of go wrong, but JayOh's stepped up and become a leader in the community. He's also helped all of these other streamers in this Madden community that are up and coming. I consider the leader of these guys, all the guys that are watching on Twitch right now. So, Jay, if you want to talk a little bit about the stream team and then how you started your channel and how everything progressed.
Sure. Again, my name's JayOh. I've been streaming for about 2 years now, so kind of new into it, but hit the ground running. On the EA stream team, it's something that came up last October, and from actually Gibbs right here hit me up. And the whole part about being on like a team is you guys can like rely on each other, and it's good. You rely on the schedule, you stick to that schedule, you can fill in for other people on the schedule, you guys can ask each other questions, like you said, power of the ask, and you guys are all in the same boat, you're all trying to accomplish the same thing. So being on the EA stream team has been nice. You get nice notoriety. Again, you're streaming for a company, which is good. You got to reflect yourself in the right way, and it's where you got to go forward with stream. You got to realize that maybe later on in the future, you get sponsored by a company, and that's how you got to promote. You got to promote yourself and how you got to act. You got to start acting professional. It's a lot to think about down the road, but that's what the EA stream team, and it's what it came and what I've started to learn from it. As for myself, becoming partnered, I am partnered, and I've been here for 2 years, so I realized like from the scope of things and like taking a step back, it's been pretty quick, and I am very fortunate. What I've learned is that it's not going to be like glamorous. It's going to be a grind. Like you guys see Castro, Nadeshot, all these big streamers, they've gotten there, and it's kind of crazy. But you guys got to realize it's going to be a grind. You're not going to turn on and see 300 people in there, but again, you got to realize it's going to take a little bit. When I got my partnership, when I didn't get my partnership, I was getting denied time and time again. I couldn't dwell on it because you don't have time to waste. Other people are going to continue to grow, and you got to continue to please your viewers. So you got to turn that energy into positive energy, and it's the most important thing. And then when you hit a groove, keep streaming. You got new people in the building, you got to keep bringing them in. You got to keep giving them a reason to come on in, make them a frequent viewer. Keep doing that, and remember how you got here. Later down the road, other opportunities are going to open up. Remember that the viewers make your channel. You got to keep respecting them. You got to keep making them the most important thing, because without them, you wouldn't be here. And then capitalize on timely streams. When the biggest guys are streaming, it's not always going to draw in the most viewers, but when they're not streaming, you got to realize there's so many potential viewers out there. You could do so well, and you know what? Throw in a stream really early in the morning. If no one's streaming, you can do so well. So take those tips, and hopefully you can start building your stream and get through with the partnership.
Yeah, real quick, just going off of just like when you're starting your channel, really like what this for me at least is. We all have one opportunity. We all get one chance at doing things that we really want to do. And it's really difficult and scary sometimes to think like, or kind of like be down on yourself, like I can't do that. I can't be that streamer. I cannot be this guy. There's so many examples in this room that I like just know of people that are that guy that was saying that 2 years ago. JayOh was one. We got guys in here, right over here, sitting over here, Toke Nasty, who's one of the biggest sports YouTubers, and he didn't have a channel, 2 years ago. 350,000 subscribers right now he has. We got ScoMo, he's a big community leader over here. It's about taking a chance on yourself and believing in yourself that you actually can do something that, like, even if you don't grow it to 400,000 subscribers, even if you don't grow it to a ridiculous number and you're PewDiePie, like, you can be happy and enjoy a small community that can be a beneficial, positive influence on your life that will open up opportunities that you don't know what those opportunities are going to be. Like, some of the things that I've been able to have an opportunities in my life, like, could never have imagined, ever. Just some of the things that just fell into your lap because you become a content creator and you start putting content out there and you start being good to people in the community. And that's really what it's about. It's about being good to the viewers, the people that come and show up at your stream. They're the most important people in your life, like outside of your family, your dog, and all that good stuff. But like, you take care of those people. Like, you get one guy that comes into your stream, like, you do everything to get him to keep coming back. You got to stop complaining and say, oh, I only have one person. You have one person that cares enough about you that's going to show up. And when you really think about that, that's actually a really special thing. Shout out to Ghost Gaming back here, who started here last year. He didn't have a channel, and he's well on his way to being partnered. I mean, just another example of where you can make things go when you stay committed. So.
And so for the people that maybe aren't as familiar with Twitch or don't have their channels yet, and I see some parents in the room that are maybe bringing their kids and they're interested in starting a channel and becoming content creators, it doesn't have to be Twitch. It can be any service for live stream. It can be YouTube. It can be a Periscope. It doesn't matter the platform that you're using. But the dream is, and what your parents say is, oh, you want to play video games all day? And the sad reality, and the guys that have to build these channels quickly find out that it's not all about just playing the games or being the best at the games or sitting in a room and playing all day and always having fun. You have to think a little bit beyond what's going on. You got to kind of take things to the next level, and we'll talk about that. And that's pretty much going to be a lot about storytelling. You've got to find a way to tell a story to your audience. So you want to find a way that you can tell stories daily, every day. You want to find a way you can tell stories each week. And then you want to find a way that you can tell stories every month, and then your full timeline story. So, my short, full story is went to college, started working at an engineering firm in Boston, doing marketing stuff, didn't like it, kept making content in my mom's basement, finally did it till I was 25, and she was like, all right, how about no more of that? And I'm like, all right. So it's time to move out, and ended up at that moment, like the exact moment you're ready to quit, we got a call and we're able to write the strategy guides for Madden. And that's my kind of like lifetime story, and things are going on from there. But everyone has that lifetime story, and you may not think you do, or you may think, that guy really didn't do that, this or that, but everybody has that story they want to tell. A daily story, it doesn't mean you have to stream every day. It just means you have to give people a reason to want to contact you and connect with you every single day. These YouTube guys that are here, they're creating content while they're here. They're on Twitter. They're sharing their adventures so that you can stay with those guys every single day. I Periscope in the mornings for 5 minutes. It doesn't mean I have to sit on Twitch for 2 hours on a Monday. I might just pop on for 5 minutes in the morning. The guys that can make it can listen to me rant about Dunkin' Donuts versus Starbucks. This is a Dunk City. I know that. We run on Dunkin' here. So, and then you want to have kind of your weekly rhythm and your monthly rhythm of storytelling. So start to think about the stories you can tell and how Twitch can help you tell those stories so that people can care about what you're saying. Next up. Now this is a big reason why people fail. So problem here is a very, very successful streamer. And if you read this question, this is the type of question that people who are kind of setting themselves up to fail ask. Fortunately for Problem, he grinded every single day just to be successful before kind of getting into the nitty-gritty nuts and bolts of this question. So basically, does anyone know how to stream so you can play a sound, like basically a soundboard, right, is what he's looking for? And you might look at that and be like, wow, that guy's an idiot. I can't believe he doesn't know how to set up a soundboard. Like, some of us are good with technical things. You can run a stream, you could have great quality. Some of us don't know anything. He streamed from his PS4 with no face cam for a year and a half. And still, by his storytelling, by how good he was at the game, by communicating and building a community, he was able to become successful. It wasn't about knowing how to play a drum roll after he hit a joke so that it entertained people. But a lot of people get kind of lost in the minutia every single day. So, Gibbs, what are some other questions and things that you hear people say and you're like, yeah, I want to steer you away from that because you're not asking a good question that can set you up for success?
Sure. So just kind of the example, the type of guy I am. The other day, I was having a serious conversation with Zach, and I didn't understand that Disney World and Universal were two separate things. I thought that they were all like under one umbrella. So that's like where my tech-savvy skills come from. I don't have any tech skills at all. But what I do believe in is kind of going down like the 80-20 rule, where it's like you just get up what you can get up to stay up and running. And then kind of figure it out from there. So the example there is like TJ's been able to help for numerous years when it comes to technical things because I'm just not the guy that can do it. But you have to look at those kind of small little problems that you might be experiencing and not let them be the reason why you're not going to stream. Or it's like, hey, once I get this new camera, I'll start streaming. Once I get that new Astro headset, I'll start streaming. Once I get the new keyboard, once I get the new motherboard, everything. I don't even know if a motherboard's a real thing, but it sounds cool. You just have to just start. Like it really is just start streaming, and then see what happens from there. And the question that we always hear when people say, well, how do you I started, but I can't get anyone to show up. Well, yeah, obviously, you're not going to get anyone to show up if you don't show that you care about other people and other communities. So you have to do the legwork where you show up in streams and you hang out and you let those people in those channels know who you are. Maybe you become a mod and then you hang out there for a little bit and then you build some street cred in that community. You don't spam. You don't go into their chat and go, hey, let me play, come to my channel, because you're just going to get booted out. So you have to just become a real person, build a real relationship with these people and these channels, and that's going to help build people back to your channel. So, hey, once this person goes live, if you build up enough equity in a channel because you've been hanging out there modding for 3 or 4 months, you can then maybe ask when that guy's going off, like, hey, Bobby, can you stream raid me after you go live? Like, we do that all the time for people in our community, and that's like one way to get some influx of users. But you have to put in the sweat equity in order to be able to get people to come back to you. You can't just expect to show up and have people care. You just can't.
JayOh, as a college student, you have a tough schedule. Things are always fluctuating. Maybe it's not your number one priority. You want to go out. You want to still have fun and everything like that. How is scheduling to you? Like when you set when you first started, did you set too many? Did you set not enough? How did you feel like you've adapted and gotten into a rhythm with your channel?
Yeah, college definitely has been like a problem. Not like it's gotten in the way of like streaming, I guess you could say. College is awesome. It's great. You're by yourself. But yeah, in the beginning, I always thought like, oh, I'm gonna have so much time, and I set myself too big of a schedule. And then I realized that also with the EA Stream team, like I'm setting myself almost up to fail, and I can't do that. So what I realized is I got to get into a groove first. I got to find out where time will be open for me, and then build off of that, and then from there find when I can stream, and when I can stream like a reasonable amount and actually get a quality stream. But again, in college, anything can happen. And the other night, I had like people over in my apartment, and the noise was too loud in the common room for me to even stream, because some words you don't want to hear. We're going to be put through the mic, so I didn't want to open that up to people. So I had to cancel. And it's not something you want to do because, again, like you said, you want to build consistency. So it is tough. But, again, in college, you can't use it as an excuse to not stream. You always got to keep giving yourself a reason to stream and keep doing it because you can definitely do it. It is possible. So,
TJ, what are some of the tech questions that people have, maybe some of the most common ones? And then, are there certain people that hit you up, always looking for the next best thing, and it doesn't really matter if you have a 4K stream yet? Like, that's not how you're going to make, that's not the most important thing.
Yeah, so a lot of people don't really know that you can actually just stream through the console, which is really simple. You hit a button, you hit share, and then you're streaming if you have a PS4 or an Xbox One. But it's taking it to the next level if you use like a capture card, like an Elgato or a AverMedia.
Which we'll be giving away after the show.
Yeah, but you can always want the next microphone. Like if you get an ATR 2100, this thing's great. But let me go spend $150 on another microphone that you don't really need to. My first stream, I did a 24-hour live stream for the Extra Life charity. It was my webcam pointed at my TV possibly through this laptop. I had webcam out on a tripod, and then the webcam on this looking at my face. And it worked. It got people there. We raised a lot of money. But yeah, you can always want the next piece of hardware that you're going to go spend $150 on. But if you're not being yourself and being entertaining, you can spend $1 million on a huge studio and no one's going to watch.
I want to take a quick poll of the room of anyone that is actually in this room streamed from their laptop and aimed the camera at what they wanted to stream in the world. If there's anyone that's ever done that, put your hand up.
That's the way.
These are the OGs right here.
Yeah, these guys have been around.
That's right.
It's especially challenging too, guys. You come to PAX, you see this latest keyboards, you see the little pod that they had set up down in the front with the silent keyboard, and it lights up, and then there's so much technology. I get this brand new. You get the HD60S, and then you got the other one that goes straight into your computer. I have more wires in my apartment. It's causing relationship issues with my wife, but I need it. You know, I'm gonna go home, throw this in the PC. I got 2 Black Magic capture cards in there. I end up just using the original Elgato HD and a microphone. Like, I have lab mics, wireless mics. I have this like soundboard thing. I have a computer that's as big as this thing. It's got a Wi-Fi in there. It costs a lot of money. I don't even use it because it takes too long to get set up. Like, I need to be able to go live when I can go live, and you end up just using what is easiest. So all the technology in the world like isn't even saving me. And I come to PAX and I'm like, man, maybe I need that. Maybe that's the answer. But I know deep down, like, you already have everything that you need to be successful. It's just a matter of getting out there. And then, of course, you always want to make things better and improve, but you want to start and then move up. So if you go online, there's a lot of advice out there, guys. And some of the advice is good and it comes from a good place, but some of it's a little bit dangerous. So, you know, you go in and they just say, just be yourself. You know, people will come and watch. They like you. I don't want to, you know, I just want to be myself. I want to sit there and play video games on the couch, eat Cheetos, and I'm going to stream. And if people want to stop by, they can. But if they don't, I don't care. And then they stream. No one comes and watches because they didn't put in any effort. They don't title their stream. They don't do anything with their channel. They don't share that they're going live. And then they go, nobody comes and watch me. The people don't like me. I'm not very likable. It's like, but you got to wipe the Cheeto dust off the shirt. Guilty as charged. Hot Cheetos for the win. But, you know, you've got to be willing to admit to yourself, like, you know, it's not about the money. It's not about the side income that you'd like. It's not about building the community. It's not about this. It's just about being yourself, and people will come and watch. And that can be true, but you also have to kind of go a little bit more in depth and figure out really like what you're about. So
yeah, you gotta be okay with saying like, yeah, I want to stream because I want to get partnered. I want to make a little extra cash. Like that's okay. Like there's no reason that that's wrong. Or if maybe you just want to build a community, maybe you just want to get free games. TJ over there, that's all this guy ever has cared about. Is I just want to get big enough so that I can get free games from people. So he's mission accomplished. But it goes back to like the whole. For me, is like the opportunity that will come from you deciding that you want to become a content creator. I'm going to shout another guy in the crowd right now. We got Scott Cole in the house. He has become a guy, I can't even say the name here, but he's had an opportunity from streaming and from doing a lot of different things where he's on an NFL Network show called Madden NFL Live. And that's, again, what I would say is an opportunity that has presented itself because you put yourself in a situation where you are creating content and then you put yourself ahead of other people. If you don't make that decision to go do that, you're never going to have that chance. You're never going to have that opportunity. You have to at least give yourself a shot.
Yeah, if I may.
Yeah.
It's funny. We were sitting outside before the panel, and Zach was doing a Periscope, and Gibbs was like, TJ's a good guy, but when he becomes that sports gamer, he gets real amped up. And it's funny because we say you can be yourself, but don't try to be someone else. You can be yourself a little bit amped up or a little different, but don't just, this is what PewDiePie does, so let me go be like that. I'm going to go scare myself in videos, but I don't really like doing that, so I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, you want to be, you know, the best version of yourself, the one that you'd present when you go to meet your wife's family. Like, you want to be either that guy or the more entertaining or whatever. You want to be excited. You don't want to just kind of show up, roll out of bed. JayOh, you know, some people are interested in access, so you've been able to attend community events because of your channel. Some people are interested in getting validation from the community. That was something that I was always interested in from the Madden community. There was these competitive players out there, and I thought, I'm as good as these guys are. And I would stream and, hey man, is anybody watching me? I'm winning a lot of games over here. Is anybody paying attention? Just come on, somebody mention me in a topic I'm not watching. Who's your favorite streamer? Am I on this list? Like, I want that. And maybe that's right or wrong, but like, you know, that comes from a primal place, you know. I can't resist. But, you know, what are you in the streaming game for? You've obviously built a community, and that's been great for you, but like, when you started, what did you think about?
When did you start? What was the actual day?
I have it. I started March 5th, 2014. And I think I actually started with like Minecraft. Just
2-year anniversary?
2 year, yeah. And then I got partnered 2 months ago, so it's like exactly like on 2 years. Thank you. when I first did it, like I actually watched these guys for like a while, and then like I was in their chat a lot, and then I saw them. I'm like, this looks like so much fun to do.
Sweat equity.
Yeah.
You put in the work.
Yeah, exactly.
You talked to us for a while.
Yeah, I did, and like it happened like really quick. I was in the chat, and like they were like super like personal with you, like are able to like help you out with anything. And then it went to be like just in the chat, then to be with Real Gamer, which they set up, which is like to help you stream, help to grow your channels, and then from there it went to streaming, getting close to partnership, and then the EA Stream Team and all that. So it's been crazy. Like I've been in it for, it's just been the fun. Like it looks so enjoyable, and then all the other stuff just comes along with it. I got to go down to a community event in Orlando. I got to fly to Orlando. I got to come up here on a weekend during college, right before finals week. I don't know how my parents let that go, but they did.
Seriously?
Yeah. Oh. It's like 2 weeks. We got time. But yeah, I just see the enjoyment in it. It looks like so much fun. Everyone who does it's always like smiling. The people that are here right now, they're having a great time. Again, periscoping everything. So it's just the enjoyment, and all the other stuff. It's an added bonus. So.
Yeah, and one thing about being yourself, you have to be yourself. I know people do say that. You see other streamers and you want to pull things from them, but you really do have to be yourself. And the whole thing is like you are your own person. You have something that is actually special about yourself. If no one tells you that, I'll tell you that. But you do have things that are your strengths. You also have weaknesses. But one of the things that we had that we're going to give away to you guys was the stream mapping tool. The purpose of that is literally to help you identify, like, these are my strengths. These are the things I'm good at. These are the things I'm terrible at. Focus on the strengths. Focus on what makes you who you are, and keep going down that path. Like, I'm overtly just like nice to people like JayOh for no reason. It's probably going to get me in trouble someday, but like, it's like, you just stick to what makes you you, and build your channel around that. And if you keep doing that, you're good enough to enough people, you get into enough communities, you will start to have some success with your channel.
So those are some of the things that they'll tell you. Those are the advice that they'll give you. And some of the things that they won't tell you and nobody will say is, like, they'll just flat out, nobody will tell you in a forum, like, nobody cares about you. Like, nobody cares about you. They just care about themselves and what they can get from you. So, and you can look at it as that's a bad way to look at it, or that's the actual truth of, like, if I'm not putting on an entertaining stream, that person doesn't care that I'm tired. That they don't care that, I had to stay up late and study, so my stream's not going to be entertaining today. I'm just going to sit there with my head down and not talk. They want to be entertained, or they want to be there to see the highest quality play. They want to be there to get exclusive giveaways, or they're there for a reason, and they're there to help themselves at the end of the day. Whether they need to be entertained, they just are caring about what they can get. And so until you build that relationship with them, like, I think a big part of our community is people just pop in because they have great relationships with other people in the chat. So they'll stop by to chat because they know the other people in the chat, and I'm just kind of the vehicle for those people to get there. So they don't care about me necessarily streaming. They just say, oh, I have friendly relationships with these guys, and I want to go and chat with them. The other thing is, what's tough is there's like the I could do that attitude. And it's a trap that I think we all fall in. We see successful people, and we get the jealousy will pop up, and you'll see a guy with 40,000 subscribers, and you'll be like, that guy's not funny. I could do that. But that just is a downward spiral. If you compare yourself against other people all the time, and this person has how many followers on X channel? Like, that's never going to really put you in a good place, because you should really be thinking about your community and what you can do to grow it, not comparing yourself to other people and thinking about how successful you are. So if you ever get into one of those like mindsets where it's like, man, I could do that, that guy stinks, you want to really kind of pull yourself out of that downward spiral as quickly as you can. So
yeah, and so about nobody caring about you, I do think there is a lot of like truth to that. You have to make the people that come into your channel care about you. I think something that we've always done that is like the tip of like the relationship that starts everything is the simple shout out. And I've done it a couple times here today. And the reason why I think that's so valuable is the like type of context that creates the relationship that starts to create with the person you're doing that with. You know, so if I look at you and I point at you right now in this crowd, we feel something different than anyone else in this entire room feels, because I'm pointing at you and looking at you and we're talking and we're having a different type of communication. And then when you shout somebody out, that's a starting point of building relationships. So when people ask, well, how are you going to build a channel? How do I get people to stay? It's something as simple as shouting people out when they walk in, virtually walk in. But you see that their name is on the walks in, and you shout them out. Hey man, thanks for coming in. I appreciate you. It's the easiest thing that you can do that not a lot of people do, and it starts to create that different type of relationship that you have with your community.
Cool, so we have about 10 minutes left before we get to the questions portion. So guys, if you want to start thinking about some of your questions that you'll have for the audience. And I'd like to let you know that after the show, we're going to grab a room next door if they'll let us. And if you guys want to talk about your channels and break down even more questions. Last year we did Twitch teardowns where people sent over their channels, and I went through the channel and kind of graded it on titles, graphics, the panels underneath, the schedule, and I sent that information in a video to the people and said, hey, here's some things you're doing really well. I like this. I think you could improve this with a little bit more clear underneath. Like for example, about nobody caring about you, the underneath of your channel where you write like, hi, my name's JayOh, I'm 20 years old, I go to college at this place. That's good so that they know who it is, but you really want to make it about them. By you coming here to watch my channel, you're going to get X, Y, Z. Oh man, this guy's going to entertain me, or he's going to, do that.
Yes, think about that. A big thing about that is when someone comes to your channel, your stream, what do they get? What do they get from you? What are you providing them? How are you making their life better? If you can answer that question, if you can really answer and say, this is how I make these people's lives better that are coming into my channel to watch me talk for 2 hours, if that's how long you stream, you'll be able to build a very large community. You have to be able to answer that question, though. How are you going to make their lives better for them watching what you're doing?
All right, so for the younger guys in the audience, so what do you really need to get started? A schedule is probably the most important thing you can do. And like we say, it's better to say you want to stream. To just stream once a week is good enough. It's better than saying you want to stream 3 times a week when you know you can't, and then when you only do stream once a week, you get disappointed that you didn't get to 3, so then you just give up. So if you just really be honest about what you can do, if you can only stream on Saturday morning, that's it. Don't say I want to stream 3 times so that you get discouraged when you only make it to 1 time. So you definitely want to get a schedule, and everyone's can be different. Equipment-wise, we have TJ here. He's an expert, but really doesn't take more than you can get OBS. You can get started for a very inexpensive amount. It's not like it was a few years ago. We had to rent out a studio, and it was like a couple $1,000s a show to get going. Get a TriCaster, get all this different equipment. People are so much more used to a little bit lower quality with streams. There are the good ones out there, but you can get away with pretty decent quality that does come from the Xbox until you get started and go a little further.
And the one thing I would say about that, even if your video quality is not the best, try to get your audio quality as good as you can get it, because sometimes the video will be a little grainy, but as long as they can still hear you getting your message across, that'll be enough to keep them around. And
then the last thing is just a commitment. You got to play this game for the long term. You got to be willing to think 6 months away, think a year out. How am I going to grow? How am I going to get it going? It really, really snowballs. A guy like Tope, like we said, small channel. When it gets going, it's never a straight line graph. It's something that I learned in algebra that I can't recall right now.
Like a hockey stick?
It goes way up.
You're from Boston. It's a hockey stick.
Yeah.
I think you know what that is.
So, you might go 0 to 10 viewers, but then the next level's 100. It doesn't take you as long as it get from 0 to 10 as it does from 10 to 100, from 100 to 10,000. It really does kind of grow. So you want to be committed and think about it for the long term. Like, JayOh, what are some of your goals for the next year if you had to think about it?
Currently I'm at 10,000 followers. So I mean, if you think of it, it's not a whole lot. Like how you partner, in different communities, it is a large amount. So for Madden, that's a pretty solid amount. For me, I actually set goals at the beginning of the year. So I think I set a follower goal 20,000. So almost at the halfway point, I feel like I can get there. When you get a partnership, subs is a certain one. That's another one. I was trying to think of some others. So the other goals I set. And then eventually upgrading like equipment. When can I upgrade equipment? Like right now, I'm currently streaming off of this computer right here. I'm going to go with a custom soon. So I guess that's another goal. Like when will I officially upgrade? So it's just like small things. But yeah, definitely, and it keeps you going. It's like another like milestone. Like you peg it off, keeps you going, keeps you gunning every day, keeps you streaming. So
Yeah. On the next slide here, we're just going to talk a little bit about community. I think this is probably the most important piece. Without the community that we've built, like people always say, like, why do you stream? Why do you just pop on for 30 minutes every Monday night? It's because I want to hang out with the people that we've developed. Chatting in the chat, that's what we say. We're just hanging out, talking in the chat. But one thing to be aware of is like the community kind of becomes who you are. And so you want to build the community that you want to reflect you. So if you're going about things maybe in a different way or trying to take the shortcuts or not doing things the right way, the community that you're gonna, you'll put up giveaway in your title, but you're not actually doing giveaways, or you try and game the system a little bit. Like those are the people that are gonna come in, and those are the fickle viewers that leave, that don't stick around when you're just kind of relaxing and having a good stream or playing a different game for the first time, or you kind of get the community that you deserve. So you really want to build the best community, because those are the only people that are there, and those are the only people that care about you. And when I call it the rubber band ball, so our community I consider like a rubber band ball, right? As a whole, they create this object, and when one new person comes in, they attach that rubber band, and the ball keeps growing. But what happens sometimes is you'll get a new viewer source, or you'll be playing a new game, and all these other rubber bands will come in, and the ball rejects those viewers if those people don't know how to like act like in your stream. So like in our stream, we don't like swear in the chat. We kind of keep things cleaner, and you guys can do it however you want, but that's just our community, how we operate. And so when somebody comes in and they type in all caps and say, "You stink at the game,"
Wolfman bans him immediately. Shout out to Wolf if he's watching.
The ball just kind of rejects that amoeba that's coming in, because it's not how we want to grow our community going forward, and it's not something that we're going to engage with. I'm not going to, oh man, this guy in the chat says I stink. Like, that's not personally how we go about it. So you want to keep your rubber band ball strong, and that's like the core of your community. Very, very important. Next up, creation as a practice. So you want to really get going as a content creator. We talked a little bit about your story being a daily story, a weekly story. I use creation as like same thing. Like I go to the gym during the day because it like gets me in a good place. If I'm not creating content, like we traveled up to Boston for the panel, didn't bring my console, and now it's like I haven't been in touch with my community much besides the Periscope for almost a week now, and it's like I'm getting antsy. Like I want to go hang out with those people. I want to give them content. I want to make sure that they're doing well and that they're entertained and that they know the latest in the Madden community. So I use it as a way of like just getting centered and being like around in the community. I don't know if you guys see that rhythm with your community.
It becomes a lifestyle. It's like anything. You do it enough, it just becomes something that you get used to doing. So I mean, I understand where you're coming from with that. You start creating content, like it just becomes a part of who you are, and that's what Twitch is. That's what YouTube is. That's what being a gamer is. You create this content, and it becomes about who you are as a person.
Definitely.
And with every video you do, you get a little bit better. Sometimes you might put up your first video that you put up might be just this is the raw gameplay, and then the next one you add voiceover, and then the next one you add little edits and stuff, and a little transition and stuff. Every video you do is going to make you get a little bit better for the next video that you do.
We started turning on lights in our video. It's been huge. It's been pretty big. So on the next slide here, we just talk a little bit about the 4 types of streamer, and these can all overlap. A guy like Toke, he's an entertainer 101, just like hilarious. You watch him, you're on your seat the whole time you're watching the video. You never know what's going to happen next. There's competitive players like Problem. You're going to watch him. You're going to see high-level gameplay. You're going to pick up little tips and tricks. He's going to kind of guide you through. You can ask him a question. How do you beat this level, or how do you do X, Y, Z? And he can kind of walk you through and show you while he's playing. You have similar educational streamers that can kind of mix that. they'll show you also what's going on. The competitive players, you know where to find esports level, top quality gaming. That what's happening on the screen, what's happening in the match is at the peak of the meta, and you really want to see these players play at the highest level. It's like the reason we go to NBA games is because we want to see the best players play at all times. And then the last thing is you kind of have this exclusive streamer who maybe he moves on to the next hottest game, whatever it's going to be. He's going to have that Overwatch beta day one. He's going to be streaming it. He's going to have Mirror's Edge beta day one. Bringing you the latest news, keeping up on the scene, giving things away. And those are some of the different types of streamers. But those where you want to think about what you want to do. Sorry.
Yeah, those not the only types, but those are like the 4 main types we've seen over the years, like what makes somebody a successful streamer. And that's where you take those strengths that we were talking about earlier. Where do your strengths fall in? Like, what do you do the best? Where we started was we were competitive Madden players. So that's really where we kind of found our niche. We became competitive Madden players that also educate people on how to actually play the game at a high level. So that's like where we kind of crafted our space, and we kind of like dug our claws in there and wanted to be the best there was at helping people become better at the actual game at a high level.
Yes, if aliens attacked Earth and President Obama came down and said the aliens want to play somebody in Madden, we don't want him to call us, because we want him to call us if the aliens challenge all of Earth to a game of Madden, and then we would be the people he calls to educate all players on the game. We're not necessarily trying to be the best of the best, still up there, but we want to teach more people. We have just a couple minutes left before we get to questions, so we're going to kind of rifle through these real quick, and then we'll have the giveaway coming up at the end of the show. And remember, we'll chat next door if you guys want some teardowns or have more questions that we don't get to. Next up is tools. So there's so many tools. There's some great ones. We just learned about a new one today, Game Wisp. There's T-Notifier, where Gibbs mentioned you want to shout out new players that come to your channel. Well, T-Notifier makes it so that anyone that follows your channel or subscribes to your channel gets their name flashed up on the screen. And it's great notoriety for them. You can then read it off. And so these tools then help remind other people, oh, I haven't followed yet, I should follow. There's Nightbot in the chat. He helps keep things clean for you. He'll let you know if people follow. He'll let you know if people subscribe, and you can then call them out. So there's so many different tools, and there's a lot of good ones, and there's Mac and PC. I tend to think PC is slightly a little easier to get your stream going on, but you just can't get lost in the weeds of like, oh man, I don't know if I should set up T-Notifier or Twitch alerts. Like, what do I do? What do I do? Probably want to go with Twitch alerts because T-Notifier's sliding down. But you don't want to think about this versus like, and then just freeze and get paralyzed. You want to just continue to stream and then figure out what gets you the most optimization later, the 80-20 rule. But we can go in more in depth of each of these, what we utilize on our channels, and how they've helped us grow.
Let me give you one more great tool. A notebook or Google Docs or something. Like, last night we were sitting in Zach's basement, and I was like, we should do a weekly show about MLB The Show. I was like, let me ask my friend if he wants to do this. All right, we got a Google Doc. Open the Google Doc. We've already got 10 ideas for what we're going to do the first week that we start streaming. There's some people that can hit the go live button and just do their whole show off the top of their head with no problems. But for a lot of people, take 2 minutes, make a little bullet point list of the couple things you want to hit on, and your show will go a whole lot smoother, and there won't be a lot of dead air in the middle of your streams.
Yeah, so when a new platform comes out, it takes shape of the old platform. So when radio came out, TV then came out, and The Lone Ranger, which was a radio show, went on TV. And so the first TV shows were just basically radio shows, but with pictures. YouTube came out, no one really knew how to use it. People would just like point their phone at their cat and then post that video. Then people started doing voiceover and adding edits. And then Twitch came out, and people are just like, okay, I'm just going to hit this button and go live and then talk. And so that's how people were using Twitch. And now you're seeing Twitch people that are planning streams. They're planning teams. They have show slots so that you know every Wednesday night at 8, X show is going to be on this channel. So just to hit the button and go live might not be enough anymore. We're really moving to a place with Twitch where you need to have more planning. for your streams?
Yeah, real quick. That's like the 7th time I said that. But so the future of where this is something I personally believe in is where the future of Twitch is going, live streaming in general is going. It's going to a place where every single person in this room, more so than ever before, because we have this live platform, all have the ability to create our own media network. I see the example right now is of like Greg Miller and Kind of Funny Games and what they're doing.
You guys can line up real quick if you have questions.
And like they're going live in the morning, they're doing morning shows, and I see that, and I see the morning show is exactly the same thing as the Today Show. So these traditional forms of media that we all consume, we have the ability now to go live on these platforms, and we can make our own media network. So where is it going? Where is it going to be in 4 or 5 years? I think that's a glimpse of where it's going to go. And now it's about the people. It's about the people that are going to carry it to get to that point.
All right, we'll take as many questions as we can, and then we'll answer the rest there and do the teardowns. Remember, guys, we'll pick a HD60S giveaway winner. And then anyone that showed up today, you have those links below to get your Foolproof talking points to boost your chat activity, and then also the Twitch mapping tool if you haven't quite started yet and you're still looking to formulate where your stream wants to be, or if you want to review your stream and see where could I change. First question?
Hi. I actually own an independent website with a fairly successful podcast, and one of the requests I've always gotten from my podcast is to do the show live. So I started up a company-wide Twitch page that when we do our podcast, we were on there, but I have other streamers that go on and stream throughout the week to keep a schedule. And one of the problems that I had was that people would tune into their streams and not see us, and then they would never come back. So what we started doing was have them go live on their own page and then have their company one host them. But the problem with that is that anybody subscribes, they subscribe to their personal pages and not the company page. What advice would you give to somebody who's trying to build the company one but not lose it because I can't stream all the time?
Pod guy, stream team guy, go.
You go first. All right. So right now, when it comes to like building the actual channel, like there's something with the stream team that's very similar. Like we have probably about 8 guys that will stream. That's part of what JayOh does, and he'll go live. Like how many days a week do you go live? 3 days a week. So he goes live, and at those times, like he's not able to build his own personal channel while he's like streaming. So one of the things we have them do is make sure that they put like chat like pings like into the chat, like, hey, go follow me on my actual channel, twitch.tv/JayOh30.
Yeah.
And so like little things like that. Also like your channel panels below. If you like build those out in a way that like is like gets people to think, like, well, why would I want to go over and check out your other like your own personal channel? Like set that channel panel up below to like give them information, like what is a pain point that someone has, or like what are the problems that they're experiencing. Like say you do an interview about I'm just using like sports for example. Like you could say like, oh, I have the latest interview with Dustin Pedroia, and you have it in your channel panel, and then have it link out to your podcast somewhere so they can go check out and listen to there. A couple ideas right there.
I think if the whole channel's like built up and branded, I know they may not see you when they come to the channel, but I still think it's worth it to have that channel be live so that people and as the channel gets more and more content on it, people will now think, I have 10 minutes, not, I wonder if this guy's streaming. It's that I know that channel's pretty much active. Let me go see who it is. Maybe it's somebody, if it's related to it's not like you're doing arts and crafts and these guys are talking about wrestling and you tell them to go watch wrestling and they're like, this isn't, if it's something that's related to what they're doing, I think it is worth it to have it all on one channel potentially.
Okay.
We'll take the next question. I'll chat with you after.
Hello, friends.
Hello.
I hope you can hear me from down here. I know you said to not stress the equipment when you're starting right away, but you also want to be personable with the community that you're building. So my question is how important do you feel that a face cam would be, especially if you are not like a very expressive streamer, or I know friends who trying to make this a career, but they have a disability that shows on their face, or they have like confidence issues. So how important do you think a face cam would be?
There's 3 big ways to communicate. You have, voice, you have face cam, and then you kind of have like your body language, and then you also have the chat. So those are the 3 ways that we utilize the community. I think voice is the best because you can get the most out of it. Communicating in the chat's pretty good also. I think a face cam definitely helps, but I don't think it's a deterrent. Like we mentioned, like Problem did. I don't even know if does he even use one now? Still doesn't use one. Like so, and that's there's examples at every level, but there are certain people. I know Jack Frags, I believe he's a guy that doesn't really like to use a face cam when he streams. So you can definitely get around it.
Okay, so it's not essential.
It's not essential.
Yep.
It's a nice to have for sure, and I would recommend it if you guys can. Go for it, but yeah, it's not a deal breaker.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Hi. A lot of my fellow streamers and some fellow YouTubers who are friends who've switched over to Twitch go on what's called the garage. Where around 5,000 to
I got you.
5,000 to 20,000 followers stream for like 5 hours of every time. I was wondering, what do you think is the ideal length for a stream?
So I would say that the ideal length is actually much shorter than you think. And what I see is that 80-20 rule coming into play again. When I stream for 2 hours, I find that I get about 80% of the views that I would get, that bulk 300 people come in. When I stay on that extra 5 hours, because I'm having a good time or the chats, I'll play one more game. When I get out of that 5-hour stream, I'm gassed. I didn't plan for it. I didn't have any extra special content. There was no reason for me to go 5 hours other than just it was fun. But I'm in a haze. Maybe I missed the gym that day because I went 5 hours instead. And so it kind of can throw me off my game a little bit. And I'm not seeing that extra boost from that stream time. The other thing is, I think you should, for every hour that you're streaming, you really need to be spending like 2 hours planning the stream. You should never just hit the button and go live, especially if you're at that level where you have those viewers. While streaming is good as much as possible, you really want to kind of plan things out and do more back work in the late, like do more leg work before you actually hit the live button.
You just wanted real quick about, that's my 8th time I said real quick, God. So you, like when you start your stream, one thing that we found over like all these years is definitely do like a prime to lead into your show. So say you're going to go live at 5 and you want to go till 7. We personally think that 2 hours is the best, and it's the best for us. And that's because it allows us to be able to be on the top of our game. Because after 2 hours, we find that you get fatigued. You really do. You get tired. Like, you have to talk for 2 hours. Like, you can't not say anything. So, but if you also build in a prime, like, that can help get your channel revved up and ready to go. Like, you really shouldn't go live, like, just completely raw. You want to start the channel maybe 15 minutes beforehand, put up a graphic, put some music behind it, and then get the channel going from there, and then go live. You'll get people, like, ready to go, like, appointment set.
And you can make sure everything's set up right and everybody can hear people and your Skype caller is actually being heard by the stream. So yeah, definitely start a couple minutes early.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Cool. We'll take one more and then we'll grab the rest of your guys' questions next door.
Hi. My question is, when it comes to game genre variety and streaming, there are people who have a small variety, like i.e. stream COD one night and another night stream CSGO, because they're both shooters. But then there are people with a larger varieties, like i.e. stream COD one day and then stream a retro game another night. For building a successful streamer and keeping an audience interested, do you think a bigger variety or a smaller variety is like better?
I mean, it really is going to depend like how you measure success. If you just want to if you're going for like mass size and audience, it's probably better to stick with one title or stick within one genre, like your FPS only or adventure games only. But if you're just trying to grow like the best community and that community is going to stick with you throughout sports games, like I lose 2/3 of my viewers when I switch off Madden and go to play like MLB The Show or UFC. Over time, like people will go away from that. But if you get those viewers ready for those games, you're going to be playing a guy like Toke. He can go and play any sports game. And I think when he first started his Diamond, so he started out with Madden. He does Diamond Dynasty now for baseball. His channel, it didn't maybe start as big because maybe not all the Madden audience went over, but now his baseball channel is like almost as big. So it's got like a Venn diagram where there's some in the middle that watch both, but then there's also the huge audiences, and so he's expanding out from there.
And that's where a schedule is like really important, because if you're going to do a Call of Duty on Thursday and League of Legends on Monday, those two groups of followers might not like the other game, so they're not going to be super happy when they see, oh, this guy's online, I'm going to go watch him because he plays Call of Duty most of the time, and then they go to see you play League of Legends, they're going to pop in for 2 seconds and they're going to leave.
Right.
So to have a good set schedule of what you're going to do each time.
Right.
When you're starting, I think there's two different answers. If you have a already established channel and a really large channel, you probably do want to change the game up based on like when a new game's coming out. You see a lot of influx. Like our biggest time of the year is right when the game comes out, Madden comes out in August. Like that's the biggest for us, and we see that across the board for a lot of people. But if you're starting out small, I would really like recommend that you stick to what you love. Like, what is the game that you like aren't going to get sick of playing? Don't play the game that anyone else wants. Like, play the game you want to play. And your community, because that's who you are, your community is going to love you for it as long as you treat them right. So just do what you want to do. Once you build up to that point, like where you get bigger, that's when you can adapt. That's when you can change. But when you start, because you're going to have to grind every single day to build this, you have to do something that you actually love playing, something that you just, every single day you wake up, you want to play that game. So do what makes you wake up and want to do every single day, and do that.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, guys, that is it for this panel today. Thank you very much for everybody that came by in studio. Huge thank you to everybody that's watching live on twitch.tv/PAX3. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to follow their channel. If you want to follow our channels, it's Madden Tips on Twitch, JayOh30, JayOh30, and ThatSportsGamer. Remember, you can head on over to realgamer.com and get your mapping tools and your Twitch topics all good. And we're going to pick the winner of the HD60 from Twitter after the show. If you guys want Twitch teardowns, you guys can contact us at realgamer. Or if you have questions about your own stream and you're not in the audience to chat with us next door, feel free to email them. We'll get to them. And hopefully this helped you guys out today. We're going places. It's a big opportunity for all of us here, and you guys, just by being here, I feel like you guys really are on the front wave of this, so let's ride it.